So,
Just tell me I'm live.
I will. Will. There we go. We are now live. Welcome everyone back to NGA. We're currently... Oh, we're gonna now run or watch Donald Duck. Going Quackers. Run by UnFantasmaMas.
Or just
Hope
senpai
I
for all
pronounced
the
that
people
right.
who has problem with Spanish.
Yeah, that might be it. Anyways, take it away, mate.
Thank you. Thank you, Factor, and well, hello to everybody. I am Go Senpai, so as Piku said, and this is Donald Duck in Quackers. The time is not gonna start yet. The time is gonna start once I get the control tunnel, so we're gonna wait like 16 seconds up to this point. The timer is gonna start. We're gonna do the RTA timing, which is basically, well, when you get the control tunnel, so be ready. And go. Alright, so this is Donald Duck with Quackers. This is a game that was released back in 2000 for many platforms. Initially, this game was released for Nintendo 64, Sega Dreamcast, and PlayStation. Then, some months later, it got a PC release. And 2 years later, in 2002, the game was released for the PlayStation 2 and GameCube. So, despite of the Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance versions, we have 3 versions of the game. We can consider the first version as the first version as the N64, Dreamcast, and PC release. The second version can be considered as the PS1 version, and the third version is the GameCube and PS2 ones. In this case, I'm on version 2, which is PlayStation release. Each version has some different stuff, some different things. They share some stuff between stages, so that's the reason why this category is called Any Person PS1, because we are gonna Any Person route from the PS1 version. In this case, the Any Person route is just to collect all the orbs in all 16 stages and beat all 4 bosses. So we're not gonna go for time trials and the toys. In this case, if you see a flying book, if I hit that book, a timer is gonna start on the game. So with it, I'm gonna be able to catch a toy if I catch it on a certain amount of time. Otherwise, I need to hit the book again to activate the timer. But for this category, that's not required. You just need to beat the game as fast as possible. So this game was developed by Disney Interactive and distributed by Ubisoft back in the 2000s. And as we can see, this is basically a 3D platforming game, and for some reason it shares some similarities. Sorry. Well, it looks, well, it has something to see with Crash Bandicoot in some way, with the concept of the warp rooms and the 3D movement and all that stuff. Many people at this time consider this game as a kind of Crash Bandicoot for kindergarten because it's kinda easy, but there's gonna be some parts where we're gonna have some problems with the game physics. So the history of this game is that Daisy was working as a TV reporter / broadcaster, and then she tried to do a live broadcasting since the evil wizard's Merlock's pad, trying to show to the world which was his evil plans, but Merlock discovered her, and now Donald needs to rescue her. But in order to be able to travel Merlock's pad, Donald needs to travel around the world using the Gyros time machine in order to collect some energy orbs that are gonna be able to give enough power to the machine so Donald can go and rescue Daisy. So for any percent, we need to go these orbs. They're not hard to find. Some of them can be kinda tricky to get. Well, kinda troll, because the game's gonna make you think that you missed the orb, or it's so close to you, but you need to put so much attention in order to locate it. So if everything goes fine, I don't think that I'm gonna have problems trying to do this. There are 5 stages in total in each warp room. There are 4 warp rooms, 5 stages, and 1 boss stage. But for this category, we're not gonna go. We're just gonna go through 4 stages. The reason of this is because you collect all 3 toys on each stage, making a total of 12 toys. You can talk with one of the Donald's nephews that are just right here covered in the stage, and after you talk with them, they're gonna allow you to enter to the stage because you have to collect all their toys. So you can play an auto-scroller stage just to unlock some Donald costumes for the game. That's not required for the category, that's part of the 112%, which is the fully competition of the game. And that's it's good to mention because in the other versions, the fully competition of the game is the 100%, but in the PS1 release, it's the 112%. It's just to collect the toys, going for the auto-scrollers, unlock the costumes, and also the time trials, because after you beat a stage collecting the orb, if you re-enter to it, you're gonna find a clock. So if you touch the clock, the time trial is gonna start. But it's kinda curious how does this time trial work, because comparing this with Crash Bandicoot, for example, if you die and you need to reset the start of the stage, that's something that doesn't happen with this game. If you fail, if you die, you respawn on the last checkpoint, but the clock keeps going. Making that at the same time, this can be kinda tricky to complete. Okay, let's jump here, so I have to take this back up. I use this, that's one of the few times that probably I'm gonna be activating. Just because the physics of this game are kinda weird, so probably I have tried to jump in order to walk over the wood, and probably I wasn't gonna be able to get it. So I prefer to use the wood there because it's more probably you reach it if you jump over it. No, not at all. For now, from the first version of the game, which are N64, Dreamcast, and PC, the most fastest version, at least for now, is the Nintendo 64 release. A lot of runners prefer to use the N64 version, mostly because the PC release has some problems with actual operating systems. Sometimes you need to run a virtual machine in order to be able to play the game. So that is keeping on test. That's has been something good because this game has been kinda abandoned, so not so many people was running it. But recently, in the recent months, even the N64, the first version world record has been improved, and a lot of people has been doing tests. For now, the only Dreamcast runner is on a hiatus, so we cannot keep doing more testing because we were thinking about the Dreamcast version that probably can be faster than the N64 release. Because also, we're aware that Nintendo 64 games usually doesn't have loading screens, but the game on the loading sections got freeze or something like that instead of saying loading. So technically that game has loading screens, but they are not shown properly. So this game keeps being on testing. I would like to keep testing the PS1 version, but unfortunately I am the only console and active runner of this version. So in the future, if somebody wanna run the PS1 release and have the opportunity to get a copy of this game and run it on a console, I'm gonna be so glad because we need to keep doing more testings, and I don't have so much money to keep buying more consoles because I'm running this on a PS2 because we know that for PS1 games and the PS2 it's the faster platform, since you can activate the fast disk speed mode, making that the disk speed faster and reduce it by a lot loading screens. Except on Pandemonium game, because for some reason Sorry for these words, but that moderators are dumb because they banned the fast DC speed mode. That's the only PS1 game that I know that has banned the fast DC speed. So if somebody wanna some testing mods on the PS1 version, believe me, I'm gonna be glad. Also, if somebody wanna run this game and has some doubts about it, feel free to ask to me. I'm mostly an any person runner and 112%, but I can help both a lot of categories. So now this is gonna be the first boss, Bernadette's Peak, and it's not gonna be something hard to defeat her. She's gonna throw some eggs, some chickens are gonna appear from some that eggs, and once I defeat the eggs, she's gonna try to stomp me, to fall down over me. But if I keep on a specific position, I can make that she doesn't move. And this is not a glitch, exactly. What happens here is that once she falls into the ground, she's gonna start moving where this Donald is. So she's gonna try to obviously defeat Donald in this way. But if we keep on a specific spot, she's not gonna move like this. If I keep so close to her, she's not gonna move, saving some good seconds. So this can be probably the only optimization that we can find on this boss fight. So on the first page, the chicken doesn't have these hats, making kinda easier. Then on the second page, chickens has a hat, but there are 2 also, and on the third page there are the 5 chickens. And there we go, that's what this was the first boss fight. So now it's time to move to the second warp room, which is gonna be the big city. We were on the forest. Now it's time to move to the big city. For this, I need to go back to the warp room, checking these teleporting platforms. And yes, the load bar is hilarious. It's cool to watch. I mean, it's interesting. It's funny to watch this loading bar, instead of the regular loading screens that just say loading, different typing font. And also, something that I forgot to mention is that there are 3 moods for Donald: normal mood, Mad Dog, and Crazy Dog. That aren't the official names, but I like to mention them like that. So the normal page is when Donald is okay to regular, but if he receives damage, he's gonna have a 1.5 seconds window where he cannot receive damage, but at the same time he's gonna turn into the Mad Dog phase, which means that he's gonna be mad, and if I receive damage being a Mad Dog, I'm gonna lose a life. Hopefully I haven't lost a life on this way, but we have seen Mad Dog. And the Crazy Dog, it happens when you catch the milkshake and you are on the normal move, because that's kind of the invincibility pace that we're gonna have. If you're a Mad Dog and you catch the milkshake, you just simply are gonna turn into a normal dog pace. So again, at least on this first stage, there's nothing so important to say. I just need jumping and grabbing the orbs. But sometimes the physics of this game are kinda troll-like in this way that I lose him sometime trying to grab the orb, which was at the end of the stage. And now on the next stage, we're gonna see probably the first problematic orb for many runners. This is the roofs, and if you're gonna start to learn the game, you need to be so careful trying to get the energy orb on this stage, because usually it's so easy to forget where the set is. And yes, and when I start to run this game, this orb make me lose some good PB paces. So I need to be careful because I'm on the duck pace. You didn't suppose that I was gonna have the invincibility pace, but since I don't, I just don't care so much. We're gonna start seeing more platforms starting these stages and also on future titles. Because for some reason the developers thought that the platforms for a platforming game were something new. Section is kinda tricky. Oh, I got it. Also, you're gonna see that I'm collecting a big amount of lives, and probably I'm gonna die on next stages because there are some hard sections or hard spots to reach. But you don't need to get worried about the lives. It's so easy to gain a lot of lives, as you have seen. And here is where the orb lies. So this life, the intention of that life is obviously to throw to the player, just you don't see that the orb is there. So you just need to give a hit to the TNTs. TNTs are gonna back the door that is covering the orb, and then you catch the orb, and you just need to focus on to finish the stage. But yeah, usually for first runners, this section is the one that can be kinda troll. And also, if I receive damage and I enter to the Mad Duck mood, and if I try to catch the milkshake while I am transforming into the Mad Duck pace, the milkshake is not gonna have effects. So you will like to wait until the animation finishes. So when you're into the Mad Duck phase, you just catch the milkshake in order to get back to the normal. So do with roof troops, and this is the most complicated stage from this world. Usually because there's a lot of obstacles and enemies that are gonna make it kinda complicated to move faster. Mostly the intention of these obstacles and enemies is that you need to stop for a bit, trying to wait until a specific moment just to avoid them. But we don't have so much time to wait. This is some speed one. I jump 1, 2, 3. And here's the orb. You have to put so much attention at some orbs on the screen, because most of them are kinda high, as I've said before, but at the same time, not a big deal to locate them. You need to put attention because sometimes when you are walking into the stage, you can see the orbs, like the orb of this stage. Again, I use the book as a little platform to jump over it. Okay, that jump was risky because it was so close to the edge, meaning that probably I should have died there. And here we go, this is the end of the stage. So last stage of this warp room, which is Urban High Crisis. And also the nice physics of the game can make that you cannot enter properly to the stage. So I will try to do it on the center of the warping platform just to enter to the stage. And again, this stage has some obstacles that can be kinda tricky, but not something to worry about. It's not so complicated, it's easy to avoid most of them. But at the same time, you don't need to get so comfy, because the trolling sections can attack on any spot. And also, if I catch a toy, there's gonna be an animation where Donald starts to dance, moving his butt. And if I do that, I'm gonna lose 1 second. Except for the last one, because he did dance 3 times. Well, I just lose a half of a second. But in the last dance, if I go for all the 3 toys, that animation took 1.5 seconds. This one. Gonna wait. Because I missed the correct move. Realize the orb. Enter into the Mad Dog pace. I missed the star. It's fine. And there we go. Honestly, I don't know that fact about Disney if they release your Disney World. I don't know, honestly. And it's time to go to Beagle's Boys Tower. Again, this is not gonna be a problem to beat, but also the character physics or game physics in general can be trolled. So this Beagle Boy is gonna start to throw this wrecking ball 3 times, then the machine is gonna get stuck, he's gonna try to repair it, and you just go and kick his ass. I don't know if I have said that correct, or at least in a family friendly language. Then he's gonna start to throw some TNTs, and after some TNTs he's gonna start to move the breaking ball, but starting the second phase, some parts of the roof are gonna start to fall down. It shouldn't be a big problem to know which ones are gonna be ones that are gonna fall down, since all the time they are the same, and also we can see that the floor is divided, so it shouldn't be a big problem. So careful. These are the only parts of the roof that are not gonna fall down. She's gonna start to repair this again, and there we go. This was Beagle's Boys Tower. Now we have beaten a half of the category right now. It's time to move to the third section of this game. We're gonna start now with the haunted houses. And the first stage of the third warp is called Haunted Hall. I started to lose time, to lose data, that I got asked my internet. Also, these big dogs are gonna help me to reach some larger spots later on the run. At the same time, I need to be so careful because they have a weird hitbox. Also, the way that you defeat them is just to jump twice over them, but at the same time, the game sometimes cannot recognize and the correct point to hit them, making that probably I can sometime I receive damage. I got the milkshake. This will turn around for us. Effect's gonna finish. Okay. That's an extra life, but it looks fine there. I don't gotcha it if I don't want to lose more time. Well, if I don't want to lose time. Because I can go for that life and then jump into the next platform, just save some time, but for some reason the game physics on that section doesn't work correctly, making that probably you're gonna lose a life when that it happens. Okay, accidentally I have catch the toy, so you have seen the dancing animation, not a big deal. At least for now. Again, catch his extra life. Again, I go Simon Shake. And this is probably the second stage that you probably are gonna have problems with the orb, because this is the end of the stage, but you say, hey, where does the orb is? But the orb is right here. And usually on a castle playthrough, probably you are gonna be able to find the orb if you try to catch all the toys. That's the objective of this stage, to find the orb. But try to have this in mind if you wanna run this game in the future. And also, for some reason, on these stages, many new runners start to have some problems, mostly for the distribution of the obstacles, of the traps, and also for the enemies. Enemies shouldn't be a big deal, but there are some of them that unfortunately we cannot face them. We need to hit them from the back, jumping over them, like this guy. We cannot go just straight and try to face him. Just usually the game again fails with the hitbox detection, giving them a weird hitbox. And also with this guy, it's better to you just skip it or jump over him, or just I don't know, hitting him from behind. There are some spots that doesn't help so much. I'm trying to go straight on this stage. Jump 1, jump 2. Get a hit here. And for that guy, as we can see, the way that he attacks is just to spin around. It's better that you don't go close to him when he's spinning. And also the 3D view of that moving platform can be kinda troll. Who have Grandpa's word? Well, that's not as word, or at least I haven't put attention. Now the orb is next to this checkpoint. This is one of the the better hide and orbs at the same time. But it shouldn't be a big problem to remember where the city is, because it's close to the checkpoint. So the principal point of this game when you run it is just to put attention to all the environment, because that's gonna help you on the rest of the game. Now we have the milkshake. And also, even with the milkshake, I am an invincibility pace, but I need to be careful, because sometimes when some enemies are doing some specific attacks, I can get hit and go walking in backwards. That can be something problematic if I am close to a hole. So that's another problem that probably you can get. Mostly on this area, that's so weird that happens on the other warp rooms, but on this sort of warp room you need to be so careful with your movements. Well, I don't know about swords, but if you say that it's a sword, if you say that Grandpa was having a sword, I believe in your words. And we got another example of the bad physics of the game, because there, I was gonna die. I was close to fall down on that big hole. And the reason why I haven't died is because if you are lucky and reach the far edge at the same time that you press the jumping button, which in this case is the cross button, you can jump there and avoid that death. Something interesting about this title is that this game was so popular in Europe and Australia, making that the PS1 release got released into the Platinum Hits edition. Okay, I have it catch a correct cycle, so I have died, but it wasn't a big problem. That was close to checkpoint. Obviously, I'm gonna lose some time, not so much, but I'm gonna lose a little more. But at the same time, this makes that the cycles changes. Unfortunately, this game is not like another ones that when you die, the cycles are reset. The cycles keep going, so if you find an awful point to die, you're gonna mess up the cycles. As that's the good part is that the cycles starts when you start the stage. And this can be a third problematic orb also, because like on the first stage, the objective of this is that you need to go and collect the toys. So with it, you're gonna be able to find that orb. Up to this point, we have found 3 problematic orbs. And with problematic, I try to I'm trying to refer to the orbs that probably you can forget easily. And with the distribution of the game, it sucks that the American release hasn't been so popular. This game was released on the Platinum edition for the PS1 and PAL releases in PAL regions. That wasn't the case on the NTS release. For the few tests that has been done, for now the NTSC version, the American, the one that it's run, I don't think that up to this point somebody has made tests with the PAL release, but probably the movement can be slow. Probably I'm gonna try it out in the future, because this game hasn't got a Japanese release. Now, Ghostly Path, the nightmare of many runners, because we are gonna find a lot of enemies and obstacles on many sections. Making that probably trying to beat this stage can be something complicated. Most of the PS1 runners of this game, or at least the active ones, okay, I'm gonna die, hate this stage, because we have seen there's a lot of obstacles. And this stage, most of the deaths can make to us that we can lose a very huge amount of time. So yeah, somebody needs to be careful trying to beat this. That at the start of the stage wasn't so big deal. The problems are gonna start up to this point if I die. Yeah, I received damage, but I think there's some mistake, so close over here. Time to be more careful also. And by the way, if you die a certain amount of times, or in a same stage, there's gonna be an extra animation where if you have a Donald in the correct position to watch to the screen, he's gonna watch the player and then he's gonna be mad, he's gonna throw his head at the floor and then we can see the animation. Here's the check. So we're gonna get the invisibility base here. So time to play kinda careful. Yes, now that I'm watching that enemy, I think that he's holding a sword. That's a little skip. That was a little skip. I decided to jump there because otherwise I should have received damage. And this is stages, it's kinda hard to complete this. Have received damage. That was a tricky milkshake. I don't need it at all. I use this box star just to make a little skip there because now what's an enemy? Well, what does Grandpa enemy? Well, you should was gonna use more time. And now it's time to watch the third boss and probably the worst enemy from all. And well, now I'm having an extended loading screen, unfortunately. Okay, this is taking so much longer time. And for now, since I'm the only console runner, okay. I'm running this game on a 90K PS2, which usually it's considered as the best model for most of the PS1 titles, but the only problem that I have right now is that it's the only PS2 that I have to test game fast this speed, and sometimes the game can troll you with this extended loading screen. I thought that was my desk, but or also my console, because I am using the only copy I was able to find in my country. But I have played this game on standard speed and it worked perfectly. So now we're gonna have Magica, probably the worst boss of all of this game. What we need to do is just to kill to defeat these little enemies that are gonna be walking around while she's throwing some fireballs. And after we defeat them, she's gonna start to throw some firewalls over here. And this is the only boss that gives to us checkpoint. Since I have received damage, we're not gonna see the invincibility phase, unfortunately. That helps a bit to defeat these our enemies. There are 3, if my memory controls me. No, there's 4. And this can be the section that can help you us to lose time because you never know where these guys are gonna spawn or where they are gonna move. It's 2 times, 3 times, and it's gonna be a last hit. And there we go. It was fit. And it was too bad that I got that extended loading screen because it took a huge amount of time. So now we're gonna go to Temple's Entrance, which is the first stage of the last section. Now we are gonna go to the Airlock's Path. But believe me, this is the most trolling section also. It's not so hard casually, but trying to avoid all the enemies and obstacles here, it's kinda tricky. Not so complicated, but mostly tricky if you don't wanna receive damage. Because here the milkshakes plays a good role. You're gonna definitely you're gonna love when you had the milkshakes here just to be on the invincibility pace. And okay, the game is giving me again this extended loading screens. Nice. By the way, these extended loading screens are random. But at the same time, it's faster to play the game like this instead of going through standard DC speed with the regular loadings. And with these enemies, I need to hit them on the left side because, again, that enemies with that masks has the most weirdest hitbox in the game, but after some try and errors and attempts, some tries and some mistakes, I have realized that this in okay, Mad Dog, but it's fine, it's fine. I have realized that on the if you hit them on the left side, you can defeat them. You cannot jump over them. And in some cases like this, you can skip them. Which I'm so glad about that. Yeah, that feeling, Jake. Yeah, yes, I was aware I was gonna die there. That was good. I wanna use the milkshake here. Only for the arrow section. Well, that's for the start because the time is not enough to complete this. Comparing this with the rest of the game. So during the rest of the stage I don't have anything interesting to say, just to keep avoiding some enemies, so if the announcer has something to say, this can be a good moment. I don't mind, it's gonna be the hardest part of the stage, so I need to be so careful with my movements, and I'm gonna try to focus here.
Well, I can talk a little bit actually, because we have now filled all except 2 goal incentives. The only thing left now is the Dust and Elysian Tail use percent, which still needs $25, and Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets, the Gryffindor challenge, which needs $30. Otherwise, we've got filled it pretty well so far, and we still hope we can reach that 500 before the marathon ends. Back to you.
Okay, thanks. Artifact away, second stage. Probably this for the first stage of this section. The temple centers can be one of the stages that that can help to you to give an idea about how bad design are the next stages. Talking about the position of the enemies and the obstacles. And by the way, something I forgot to mention is that this game is interesting comparing this with another games, because usually on some games after a certain point you have seen most of the obstacles and enemies, but this is not a case at all in this game, because on each stage you're gonna discover something new. Even though the last stage has some exclusive enemies that we haven't seen on the rest of the game. Just something I really like and something that it's worth to mention. And again, now invincibility, and in this section it's really, you really need the invincibility phase. It really sucks. It sucks that you don't have this. And we're gonna have now the extended walls, where the game is gonna force you to make a double jump. So probably you haven't noticed this. Yes, Donald can do a double jump. Quack Bandicoot, seems legit. Okay, I was gonna skip the enemy, but the game was trying to be kind with me because I hit him and I haven't received damage, so shoutouts to the game that has cooperated on this section. And okay, I was gonna say, and probably not on this one because I felt that I was gonna die. Another jump. No! Okay, this is so awful. That was the end of the stage and I got trolled. Okay, that definitely wasn't a good moment, a very good moment. I feel so bad right now. Because probably up to this point that has been the worst death I have got. And mostly because I have felt this run well, comparing this with my actual PB. That's fine. Just for general knowledge, my PB is a 51-11. I'm on 6th place, but I'm the only console runner of the game. Which I think that it's worth to mention. And probably from this stage, this last section is the worst of all. So my dreams of having a good run for a possible PB hard death right now. Well, probably not. I don't know, honestly. And if you the issue Murky Way, or as I like to call the last choke, because this is gonna be the last stage that probably you're gonna have problems trying to complete this. This is mostly a 2D stage, talking about the movement in general, but again, the distribution of everything is playing a bad role at this stage mostly, because there are a lot of enemies, a lot of holes. You will try to play safely most of the time, because some stuff's not worth to risk everything. But well, at least if I finish with a good time so close to my PB, that's gonna mean that if I keep doing runs, I'm gonna get a new PB. Because actually my actual PB is bad. I just killed my previous one for 20 seconds if I remember correctly. Because the game physics and extended loading screen sometimes doesn't help a lot. And also this weird word physics doesn't cooperate with the player. But that wasn't something important to mention about losing time, because I needed to wait for the cycle. Well, here this is that. Same as the cycle. And again, I need to wait until this platform goes down. And if we're lucky, we're gonna have that cycle that I can hear that this things that throw some fireballs doesn't shoot any of them when I'm. And this is a tricky orb. You need to be careful because okay, I need to die because that's gonna be more faster instead of waiting until the bridge respawns. And it's tricky because you need to be careful since the bridge falls down and find the correct spot to jump on. Okay, there we go. I get it. That's also one of the reasons why I like to call this the last choke. So we're gonna move to Ancient Fate, which is the Ancient Fate, which is the last regular stage that we're gonna see. And sorry if I have problems with my English. English is not my principal language, but believe me, I'm trying to do my best to try to talk as much fluid as I can. It's not an easy task for me, but I'm trying to do my best. This stage shouldn't be a big problem to beat at all. You just need to be we need to be careful with our movement, not at all with the enemies and all that stuff, because it's not so tricky. But again, controls can be the worst enemy you can have during all this run. Again, we have these bridges, and we're gonna see something interesting at the end. And I'm gonna tell it right now because we need to put so much attention to notice that, because this is the only stage. Okay, that Piranha was told. This is the only stage in all the game where we are gonna have two songs, two different themes for the same stage. Okay, I was close to die here. They're also close to the checkpoint. Because in this stage, for some reason, when you are on the last section, the background music changes to the principal theme of the game. So we're gonna see that on a couple of seconds. Here there's a troll section. We need to do the jump because we're gonna reach the cycle where the fireball is coming up. Okay, Billy Man trying to try to talk as well as I can so everybody can understand me. So here's the section I was talking. Well, not really, we're close to it. It's after this checkpoint when it's gonna happen. So put attention right now because the music is gonna change after this checkpoint. Honestly, I don't know why does that happen, but that's the only time on the game that we're gonna hear that background music changing. And there we go. Regular stages has invaded. Now it's time to go to ceremonial room, which is the very last stage. And here we're gonna face now Merlock to release Daisy to make her free. Come on, Doc. Thank you. So the way that we're gonna defeat him is that he's gonna throw some... First on the stage there are gonna be some arrows, then he's gonna throw some firewalls. And we need to jump over him to defeat him after all of this happens, because he's having a shield that protects him. The floor is gonna fall down. Okay, but this is randomly talking about which pieces of the floor falls down. All of that, it's the same pattern all the time though, actually. Big problem. Now the pattern of the arrows changes, and we're gonna have 3 firewalls on a triangle form. The shield's gonna go down, you can hit him. By the way, time is gonna finish once I give him the last hit, so be ready because time is gonna happen in some seconds, just if I don't die. Because we're gonna have twice this pattern with these firewalls, but the direction of them is gonna be slightly different. And time. Now we defeated. Okay, thanks. And now we defeated Merlock, and we're gonna watch the last cutscene. So, which was my time?
Your time was 51:45.
No, no way! Don't be kidding me like this. That was so close to my PB. Oh my god, this should have been an marathon PB if I haven't died half the last section of Artifact Way. But well, things happens. But at the same time, I'm glad that I finished with a time so close to my... And now we need to be careful. We're gonna watch this last cutscene while I try to say my last words. First of all, thank you for the staff for considering me for this marathon, and mostly for giving me the opportunity to run this game, to run Donald Duck and Quackers, because unfortunately these, with Snow Brothers, are usually the games that are my games that are mostly rejected in many marathons. And it sucks because both are cool games, mostly with Donald Duck because it's one of the most rejected titles that I have. Yes, it's a good game to showcase. It's not something hard to beat, but it can be kinda tricky thanks to the controllers of the game. Well, again, thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity to showcase this title. If somebody's interested into learn this game, talking about mostly the PS1 version, feel free to You send me a whisper through Twitter or a message on Discord, and I'm gonna be glad to help to you guys to run the game. Mostly because I would like that the PS1 version can be more active, because for now I'm the only active runner this game. I haven't touched also this game in some months, but for this marathon I have made the rush. But at least I'm happy that my time was so close to my PB, meaning that I need to keep grinding, and hopefully I'm gonna get a PB soon. So well, we now see the evil machine that Merlock was developing, and it was just a machine that made popcorn mixed with chocolate. So that was the evil plan for Merlock. And well, this was Donald Duck Goin Quackers. Keep enjoying the marathon because we have more good runs to that we're gonna watch later here. So well, and also keep donating because remember that all the money is for the good cause. So thanks for watching and see you. Peace.
Thanks for those words. And damn, I relived my childhood quite radical right here.
I haven't heard that last section correctly.
My, I'm just looking back at memories of my time running this game.
To be
You
back on
definitely
this
completed it
because
faster than I did.
just be back in the game because unless I would like to see most people running the PS1. The N64 one has been the one that has been more run, but also talking with another friend that runs the PS1 version, but they are taking a break for the game. They are glad